What do you actually get for $1 million in Alameda? Let's find out. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Struzyna, and if you are here, it's because you want to learn about the East Bay real estate market, trends, tricks, tips, anything you can do to get that competitive edge and get yourself into the home of your dreams or sell for the most money. And that's exactly what we talk about on this channel. So when you get some value out of this video, subscribe, hit that like button, because you're not going to want to miss the content I put out every single Friday here going forward. So without any further ado, let's get into this new series that I'm launching with this video called What the Money Bought. And today we're going to start in the city of Alameda, where I live, where I do a lot of my business, where I enjoy spending a lot of time. What did the money buy? Anytime I work with a client, whether it's a seller or a buyer, I always send them a list of what the money bought at either their purchase price or what they hope to sell. So you can compare what your hopes and dreams are to your budget, right? Or your goals in the case of a seller. And what I've noticed is that the trend line has moved pretty drastically in some key areas. Aside from that, I have a lot of conversations with people at open houses. How do I interpret the pricing? What does my budget actually get me? Is this gonna fall in my budget? I have no idea. We use teaser pricing, yada, 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 right? I get it. It's really confusing. And what I'm hoping to do in this video, and frankly in this series, is break this down for you so you can understand what's going on. So we're gonna do $1 million, we're gonna do 1.5, and we're gonna do $2 million. What it bought in 2018, 19, 20, and now 21. And compare trends, see what we can glean from this and see what we can understand. If you're watching this and you wanna see some of those other price points once they're ready, I will link to them up here, and I'll link back to this video in those ones as well. If you like this kind of content, by the way, go down into the comments section and let me know so I can do videos like this on future or other cities like Oakland, Berkeley, Piedmont, etc. Because I want to keep providing value to you. So we're going to start with the $1 million price point. Note, I took all this data from the MLS, put it into a spreadsheet, and used total averages over the entire year. So you were looking at the very average of this data, and some of it is not gonna be perfectly applicable to the house you're looking at today, but just note that over the year, this is the trend. This is the line that we're looking at, and hopefully this gives you something to work with when you're considering making an offer or listing your property. So let's get into it and check it out. All right, so here is the data that I pulled out of the MLS and put it into this little spreadsheet. So hopefully you can kind of visualize this. And there's some things I really want to pull out of here because I think that they're really interesting and tell a story of where we've been and potentially where we're going. So in Alameda this year so far, we've had 7 houses sell at that $1 million price point with an average of 14 days on market. It's been pretty consistent in the past, with the exception of 2019, which had some outliers. So nothing crazy there, but just some outliers driving that average up. Beds and baths. This is kind of interesting. The bedroom count has stayed pretty much the same of how many bedrooms you get, but the bathroom count has trended downwards. You've almost lost half a bathroom for $1 million here in Alameda. But this is one of the big ones. You've gone down over 200 square feet on average for a home that costs exactly $1 million here in Alameda. So you're getting a similar bed-bath configuration, but definitely a lot less square feet. So that's something to be aware of when you're shopping here in Alameda specifically. So one thing that I get asked all the time is the difference between list price and sales price. How do you figure it out? How do you know? Well, number one, you definitely have to understand that there are teaser prices at play. They're kind of artificial and you have to be able to read through that. But rule of thumb I give people a lot of the time is 20% over the asking price is probably around where it's going to sell for. Sometimes it's 25, sometimes it's 30, sometimes it's 10, obviously, but the data here is suggesting 10 to 12, as high as 18 last year. And what I think you really need to pull from that is to say that when you look at the bigger picture, when you look at multiple properties over the course of a year, this is what you get. When you look at one particular property, you get the influence, the market, the demand and all of that for that one particular property. So make sure that when you're thinking about this, you're not applying an overall average to that one property, but some properties sell for at their ask and some properties sell for way more. Again, these are averages. These are numbers across an entire year. So put that in mind, but use it as something to start from, frankly. This is also fascinating, dollars per square foot. If you're gonna spend $1 million today on average in Alameda on a home, you are going to expect to pay $777 a square foot, which has gone up significantly since what we had in 2018 at $625 for the same price point. So you got a lot more house, you got a lot more square footage, right? And this is really interesting. The entire market has elevated over that $1 million price point. So this is also quite interesting. In 2018, there were 42% of the properties that sold over $1 million in Alameda. So $1 million put you well into the midst of the market, right? Well above half. Now, today, 67% of the properties that have sold are over $1 million. So just in these 3.5, almost 4 short years, the price has gone up for the unit, the average unit in Alameda. And as you can see, you're starting to get a lot more single family, condo, townhouse, duet mix in there, as opposed to it was heavy single family previously. So a lot of these condos and townhouses are now breaching that $1 million mark as well. So something to really pay attention to. So there you have it. That is the average of what $1 million buys you in Alameda. Hopefully you got something out of that. It's really amazing to see how the average size of the home has shrunk by over 200 square feet and how the market itself, the number of units that sold above 2 million has grown. 7 figures is the norm now in Alameda as it appears. So hopefully that gives you an understanding of what you should be focused on if you have that $1 million to spend, what you can potentially expect, both from a pricing strategy and what you get point of view here in the city of Alameda. And if you have any specific questions about this, hit me up in the chat down below or shoot me an email or text, and I'm happy to respond to those. My information is down in the description of the video. So without any further ado, we're gonna get on out of here. But before we do, since you got some value out of that, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, because I'm gonna continue to put out weekly content just like this, and you are not gonna wanna miss it. So, this is Struzyna with the Gunderman Group at Keller Williams Luxury International, signing off for now. See you on the next one.